Alright guys, got a quick little, hopefully it'll be a quick video this time. I'm in the middle of a subcontracting project. Somebody's building a table and they want some steel work done. And actually, let me show you. I have a hell of a lot of hammered steel to make. So I have those legs, which are I think 12 by 36 or something like that, two of them, a 1/4 inch plate. And then all of that long stock, square and round, has to be hammered. That flat stock over there has to be hammered. But the video today is we're going to wrap across the end of the wooden legs this 2-inch stock. And you can see I've already hammered and waxed this one. And he wants brackets. And originally he was going to take, these are the raw brackets, 1/4 inch flat stock. He was actually going to weld to them. And then looking at it, I thought, well shit, why don't we bend this around over that? So this will get, this is the actual piece. This will get hammered, and then the objective today is to bend it around. And I made a little jig, and I'll show you that in a second. This is my first prototype 1/4 inch stuff, and you can see kind of what we're going for there. And he'll put either a real rivet or a false rivet in there, and then bolt this to the leg. So it's going to look really sharp. But I'm trying to figure out how to get that bend in, and to get it in a manner that was straight and clean. My second prototype, very similar to the actual piece, a little narrower than the actual piece. You can see that turned out pretty good, and when he gets done, it's going to look pretty sharp. So let me show you what I did ahead of time here, and then I'll walk through building one of these, I hope. So some of you guys might have noticed in my previous videos that I did pick up a 12-ton press, Harbor Freight. Where else would Chandler go, right? Poor guy. But I needed something to push wrist pins out of pistons, because I do some things with pistons, artistic kind of things. But so I decided to utilize that to form that wrap around that flat stock. So if you see, I made a bottom jig here, and you can kind of see where I'm going with it, right? So we have our original piece. And with this jig, this will fit into this original piece like that. And I have a cavity. On top of that is this doohickey, all right, which is a good example of an underskilled, over-engineered piece. But that sits in here. I actually have a directional arrow on here. I need to make sure I line it up right. So that sits on there like that. And once this piece is hot, can you see in there? You can. Under the press, it'll bend that channel. So maybe that's cheating. The same jig you could probably use with just a hammer on top if I wanted to, but since I have the press, I'm going to use it. So that's the plan. We're going to take this 1/4 inch flat stock, we're going to hammer it up, and then see what we can do about bending a nice, accurate wrap around that 2-inch flat stock. All right, for the hammering, we don't need a crazy amount of heat, enough to get the job done. I'm using the flatter that I built. If you remember, I put a rounded head on the other end, and it gives me a nice dimple. And the thing we got to be careful of here is that we don't distort this piece too much. It's a pretty thick piece of steel, so I don't think we need to worry about it a whole lot. But we got to make sure we're square when we get done. But I'm going to round off the ends. Nothing but the wrong tongs for every job I do. Just to hammer those ends so I don't forget to. And then I'm going to work down both ends like this. And then you just go to freaking town with it. Back for some more heat. You can see what we're doing. I won't waste your time anymore. I'll finish hammering this up. Alright, we got her hammered up. We gotta make sure she's flat, relatively straight. Looks pretty good. A lot of work. This poor little hammer of mine, if you look at the handle, I made it ergonomic so that it works well in this direction. It doesn't feel good in the hand this way. It's kind of an arm-killing thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a rough wire brush just to get the rest of the mill scale off, and heat her up for the bend. You know, hammering is relatively simple. You just got to keep your pattern random and vary your intensity of your strikes just to get that nice blended look. I have no idea what I'm going to do for these subdivisions. That's a lot of steel. A lot of steel. And you certainly can't hammer it on the anvil. I put a piece of plate on the floor. I'm hoping I can use that. But I'm going to die. I don't even know how I'm going to heat this right now. I think I'm going to actually build a temporary forge and use propane just to get everything up to temperature. But yeah, this is going to hurt. But fortunately there's only two. The worst part about this is both sides need to be hammered. So. But anyway, let's get back to the project. Let me grind that mill scale out. So most of it came off with the hammering, but I'm using a twisted wire wheel just to clean it up. She's still pretty hot. You can see her tempering color is starting to show after getting rid of some of that scale. PPE always with the wire wheel. No doubt. Alright, so I don't want it totally clean. It looks good to me. Shoot, there was something I was going to tell you. I forgot what it was now. Don't know. It was important not to say. Wire wheel, clean off the scale. Oh, I wasn't. One thing I wanted to tell you is that I wasn't really pushing down. I wasn't using a whole heck of a lot of force there. This is still pretty hot, and I don't want it to create any scratches on the piece. So, looks good. I really like it. The edges are hammered. Let's go ahead and put that bend in. Call this video down. This should be a short one. All right, I'm done here. Since I'm not going to have a lot of time to explain this what I'm doing because of the coefficient of expansion on the metal, right? I made the jig. I got about almost a 1/4 inch room to play, but obviously the expansion is a little bigger than that. Plus with the hammering on this wider piece, I did the jig off of the wide piece, but my proof was with one of the templates, which is a little bit narrower. The corners of my jig are hitting a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with it in a slight bend shape. Because I know the size is right, but I got to bend that plate a little bit so that it fits in that spot. And once I press it down, everything's going to go where it needs to go. So that's the solution. That's how we learn, right? All right, here we go. So I got a little bit of a bend on it. That should help it set down in there. Perfect. And then we'll throw my jig on there. I'm recording, right? Oh, that's pretty thick. The key is heat, and here I am dicking around instead of keeping my heat. Freaking camera. Alright, let's see what we get with that one. I think we're going to be alright. Again, I just tap these ends down a little bit. Keep that roll. So that's more of how the template went the first time with my test pieces. So I'm liking that. I'm actually going to let it sit there for a second so some of that heat can absorb into the press. And then I think one more turn we're going to be good. Just enough to get my jig out of there. So again, if you're making a million of these, you'd hope for a little more efficient process. So that's the way the first bend usually works. Can't get a good angle for there. I can't see what I'm doing. All right, it's not exactly right, but the next one will work, I guarantee it. All right, we really want a good heat on the second one. I'm hoping that's all it's going to take to finish her up. That's the plan, Stan. That's the plan. think that's not looking too snabby. Not too snabby at all. See what we got. See if it's going to take 3 on this one. I haven't had to do more than 2 on any of the other tests. But we're on camera now, right? And that has all the effect in the world on how things work. So there you have it. God, I can't get a good angle. It looks a hell of a lot better than whatever you're seeing. Where am I? Alright, it's hot. There we go, that one. It's easy. Oh, where am I? I don't know. Let's throw in a piece of steel, you see what I'm talking about. Alright, so there's the band we're going to wrap around. And there's that, and it looks good. The key point here is everything has to be flat. So it lays on the table properly. So we got to just go ahead and get that orientation we want it to be. And that's going to lay nice. I like it. And it's going to look a heck of a lot better than those welds. Now granted, there might be a few other ways to do this, and I'm certain that my choice wasn't the best way, but that looks good. I think that's going to look really, really sharp. We got a little room to play in here for adjusting. Make sure everything looks square when we put it on the table. And there you have it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel one more time. That should give it plenty of time to cool off. I'll go ahead and do a waxing routine so you can see that too. Alright, guys, I wasn't happy with the way that first one looked on video. I'm going to leave it in there because that's what I do, but I'm going to give this thing another go here. With the test, it proved to work really well. So I got another piece hammered up. I've put a little bit of a bow in there so I don't have to worry about this dimension from heat expansion, and we're going to give this thing another try. This is cold, so it's going to take me 2 or 3 tries, but the piece is ready, and I forgot to warm this up. So anyway, I'm just letting you hopefully give this thing another chance to prove itself. Alright, so again, being a screwball I am, I bowed it the wrong way, but that's okay. We'll live with it. Line it up, try not to lose the heat. I am recording, so let's give this thing a squeeze now. We got halfway decent heat. Just try to persuade it. Try to persuade it to be where it needs to be. I'm okay with that. And then we'll give her another heat. But boy, that looks much better. So I knew the thing worked well. Alright, so this is the first bend. And I mean, can you see that? Yeah, I mean that's where I want it to be. I mean, I don't even know if I have to do a second one. I will do this, so I'm going to flip it around. I must not have been centered really well, so you see how we're rounded here? And that was the issue last time, so somehow I'm not getting squared in that thing, but we're going to, I normally do 2 heats anyway. We'll come back and finish this one up. Alright, we'll hit this again in the opposite orientation, and hopefully everything will even out in the end. That's the hoping. Must be just a variation in that jig that I have. Just prevents it from setting totally down in. That looks good there. We look good over here. I think we're good. One more little squeeze. There we have it. I'm glad I came back to show you that because, like I said, in my testing, the jig really worked well, and I don't think it was a good representation the first time through. Get underneath it. Can't get underneath it. Well, that's good. If you can't get underneath it, that means it's set where it needs to be, so that's good. Alright, can you see it? Try to get you an orientation here. Alright, very nice. Nice and clean. Now on that side, and nice and clean on that side. I use separate gloves so that I can keep them all waxed. You notice I get a lot of wax off with just like that. I'm using my linseed oil beeswax mix. I like to wax it not when it's red hot because I don't like to wax it on my handle either. Because it'll just burst into flame and just burn. But this is actually a very good temperature for it to be. And we're going to let that cook a little bit. And then what I do is very waxed cloth, just kind of rub that in. And I don't typically do that on the anvil. Now I got an anvil to clean up. But just keep that rubbed in, let it cool a little bit, and rub it in again. If I don't think it's dark enough, I'll hit it with the actual wax one more time. This one's starting to look pretty good right now. It's very much like seasoning cast iron, you know? A little bit of coating, a little bit of heat, and just keep going from there. But that's all there is to it, and that creates a really good coating on that thing, just like it's seeing on my poor anvil. And there we go. There you have it. Once that thing dries all the way, I'll get rid of these gloves. Go back to this one. It's going to be a nice looking bracket, it really is. I like it. Everything's laying where it should. It's good, it's good, it's good. Alright, quick and dirty for you. I got all that other hammering to do. Holy caramoles, my arm's going to be dead. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on another one. I don't know what you think of this one, but it's an interesting twist, a little bit on the furniture side, architectural side. Take care, guys.